Welcome to Unmasking with Heather Dianne, where we are peeling back the layers of trauma to rediscover self, and we are unmasking pain and reclaiming our peace. Why I Stim: the science, the shame, and the self-acceptance. As a person who has started to unmask, I have discovered some interesting truths about myself, and some are deep and in many ways profound, while others are small and seemingly insignificant things that, when put together, create me. It amazes me how many different ideas that I can have in a day. Honestly, sometimes even in an hour. My brain is constantly generating ideas and making connections, and I'm learning that this is a part of my neurodivergence, and it just makes me who I am. The energy running through me is fierce and powerful. It used to leave me overwhelmed and exhausted. Learning about neurodivergent brains and nervous systems has brought me so much peace. Understanding why I do the things I do and how deeply I feel everything opened a door to self-love and understanding beyond my expectations. Some lessons have been raw and rough and hard to accept. Others have answered lifelong questions I've had that were often met with the message that I was the problem or the one who needed to change. And so I did, or I tried to, or I masked. Masking is a complex strategy humans use to fit in or to hide parts of themselves. We all mask from time to time. The difference for neurodivergent people is that we often mask traits and behaviors that are intrinsic to who we are, leading us to believe that these are signs of flaws or of being broken. This concept is so complex and it is difficult to put into words. To further explain, I'll use stimming as an example. If you're not familiar with the term stimming, here is a definition. Stimming, short for self-stimulatory behavior, refers to repetitive body movements or behaviors that some people engage in to self-regulate, manage sensory input, or express emotions. These behaviors are common in people with autism, but can also be seen in other neurodivergent individuals or in people experiencing high levels of stress. I have been diagnosed with 3 conditions that can cause stimming. It is not really surprising that I stim, and that this is just a part of me. Movement provides safety and comfort in my physical body and helps me to regulate my nervous system. See table in written post for the comparison. People with autism and ADHD engage in stimming because it helps regulate sensory input, manage attention, and modulate emotions. And these functions are supported by recent peer-reviewed research. Again, check the written text for these quotations. The first is on autism, sensory regulation, and habitual repetition. The second one is ADHD, dopamine, focus, and under and overstimulation. My entire life I've been told to slow down, stop wiggling, or that I'm clumsy and uncoordinated. People who know me and love me best will tell you that my natural state is one of constant movement. My feet constantly rub together. Something I recently learned has a name: cricket feet. If I'm standing, I'm likely rocking or swaying or fiddling with my clothes or scratching at my skin or pulling at my hair, sometimes doing more than one at once. I talk with my hands. Actually, let's be honest, I talk with my whole body. If I feel safe and comfortable, I let it happen. If not, I mask. I spend a lot of time masking my stimming, and I'll likely continue to, because my natural way of being isn't considered socially acceptable. It stings to even write that. But in my experience, my constant need for movement, whether triggered by sadness, anger, excitement, or motivation, is often seen as too much and deemed unacceptable. So I mask these parts of me daily, even around those who love me most. My wild arms and rapid movements are often too much. They sometimes hit people or objects unintentionally, and so I'm frequently reminded to stop moving for my safety and theirs. People's intention is to protect me, not shame me, but still, I often feel the shame more. I worry that I am too much. and I get angry when my movements are called out. And I feel frustrated with myself for forgetting to mask my need to move. I have many strategies to manage or rein in my movements. I learned many of them early on, especially at school and in social situations where my stims weren't considered acceptable behavior. You can click here to read an earlier post on this. I hold one wrist with the other to keep my hands still. Fidgets help me keep my movements small and camouflaged. Whenever possible, I dance. I use music to focus my thoughts and to dance. I feel at home when I'm dancing, at home in my body, and that's a beautiful place to be. I use dance routines and silly TikTok trends to make my students laugh and to help them find healthy dopamine hits. When I'm standing in a group and need to remind myself not to interrupt or get too loud, I can take deep belly breaths to calm myself, or I could do standing crunches or tiny hip sways. Basically anything to channel my movement. These strategies are effective, but trying to manage them while trying to contribute to a conversation, read social cues, mask natural behaviors, it's difficult, and it is exhausting. My healing journey revealed what stimming truly is, and I now have the gift of understanding this part of myself. I used to think I was broken, always trying to fix my need to move. Discovering that it's a neurological condition and that I'm actually wired differently gave me the gift of self-compassion, something I've rarely experienced in my life. I've started a deep dive into the physical and developmental reasons for stimming, and I've come to believe I stim for reasons beyond just being neurodivergent. I'll be sharing more on my findings and personal reflections on stimming in a future post. Stay tuned. One of the reasons I love my career as a school counselor and educator is because of the students. I've always felt safe with children. Even as a child, I'd love to spend time with younger kids, and for the most part, they love my stims. They giggle at my animated voice and flapping arms. They love my bare feet and how I sit on the floor. I feel deeply loved when I'm with children. And the neurospicy ones, they hold a special place in my heart. Teaching them about our brains and differences brings healing to my own life. I'm giving the little girl inside of me the knowledge she so desperately needed growing up. Every day I'm grateful for the privilege of working with the most amazing little humans who humble me and lift me up each time I walk through those school doors. They remind me why this work matters. It's for them and the little girl inside me who always thought she was unlucky and broken. I catch myself in moments of intense emotion, whether it's anger, frustration, excitement, or hyperactivity. I forget to mask my stims, and I slip into full stimming mode. For example, during a recent trip to New York, my son and I attended a few Broadway shows. The theater has always been my first love, and I often feel intense emotion just from the energy, both on and off the stage. I feel a deep connection, and once the performance begins, I forget to mask my stims. I caught myself fully rocking, legs crossed, top leg swinging steadily, and I become aware of these moments, and I realize that to an outsider, I might look odd or out of place. It still amazes me that this level of movement is what I need to make me feel normal or calm. Without it, the energy builds up inside of me, often leading to emotional overwhelm. I look at people differently now. I notice those who are still and those who need to move, and I hold space for them both. And with this post, I introduce another side of my life, Mrs. C. If you're a parent or teacher of a neurodivergent child and would like to read my thoughts and opinions and suggestions from a school counselor's point of view with a master's in education and educational technology and school counseling, subscribe to Mrs. C and me for weekly counselor chats. Coaching programs coming soon. Unmasking isn't about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to who you've always been. Thank you for listening today. You are doing the hard work, and it does matter. Keep going. This has been Unmasking with Heather Dianne.